It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, it's showtime. I hope everybody had a great weekend. It's Monday. It's a brand new day. Well, you know, the day is over for the most part. Man, if you're out in California, it's only 3:30. Man, if you're out in Hawaii, it's 1:30. Man, I wish I was out there with you, but it's hotter here than it is in Hawaii. Here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro, man, it's almost 100. So I come to you live. You figured out yet okay, that's me. I'm him. And I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Please, you and everybody you know and don't know, everybody that you like, that you love, that you ain't too crazy about, that you can't stand, even folks you hate, strangers, aliens. You see them in the supermarket, on the subway, on the interstate, on the expressway, whatever you call it, walking down the street. Tell them to subscribe, share, like, and binge watch all the back episodes. Check out the Geno Jones Show live. Tina Turner had a song called Simply the Best. I say that with all humility and modesty. Simply the best, biggest, and the baddest in the business. Happy birthday to all my Geminis. Geminis, stand up. All right, so Coko, Cheryl Gamble. You say, Cheryl Gamble? Coko from SWV. Happy birthday, Coko. 52 today. Singer and actor, R&B singer. Very talented brother. You guys know who this man is. Luke James. As a matter of fact, he played Johnny Gill. And he looks a lot, boy. Him and Johnny could be like related for real, for real. They could actually, you could see them standing together and say, yeah, y'all brothers. Luke James is 38 today. So happy birthday to Luke James. And happy birthday to the twins. Beyonce and Jay-Z's twins. Rumi and Sir are 5. So I remember when Beyonce, like when word got out, I shared it on my show that Beyonce was pregnant. And we didn't know what she was going to have. And all of a sudden the news came out that Beyonce was pregnant with twins. And now they are 5 years old. So happy birthday to Rumi and Sir and all my Geminis out there. So, all right, I got to share some crazy, it's crazy. It's sad, but this is important. I don't want to share this information because Juneteenth week is here. Juneteenth day is actually 6 days away on Sunday. And there are folks that want to do us as black folks, not just black folks, but specifically black folks and brown folks. Look at what happened in Uvalde, Texas. I don't need to tell you about what happened in Buffalo. You had the 10 black people that were murdered by a white nationalist, a little punk ass, a little coward ass kid with a damn AR-15. Like, really? No. Well, I won't get into the whole gun legislation that the Senate agreed on some type of law, a package, a bill that it's not going to ban the AR-15. I told you how to get the AR-15 banned last week. That was my monologue back on, I think, Wednesday. It must have been last Wednesday. You go back and binge watch. I don't think it was Thursday. I think it was Wednesday. If you want to get the AR-15 banned, if you want to get a civilian ban on the sale of an AR-15, let me have a general announcement and call for all black Americans 18 and over, go get your AR-15. Because if the folks that want to kill you are getting AR-15s and, you know, all kind of arsenals, we would be foolish. And look, I am not a Second Amendment. I ain't that dude. I'm not in the NRA. That is not me at all. But I guarantee you, if that happens, if there is a national call for black Americans, all black Americans, go get your AR-15. You would have an AR-15 ban in less than 24 hours. As a matter of fact, it'd probably be done in less than 8 hours. Right. In by 8, law by noon. You would have an AR-15 banned by lunch. They would get in first thing in the morning, and before they went to lunch, there would be a total ban on AR-15s. So that's really how you want to get it done. But anyway, so you may or may not have heard, there was a group of neo-Nazis, white nationalists, little just cowardly punk asses in Idaho that were showing up to a gay pride event. Shout out to the LGBTQ community. It's a gay pride month. So these fools loaded up. Like they load up the truck and moved to Beverly Hills. They loaded up in the back of a U-Haul truck. No, I'm not making this up. It was like 30, 40 of them. They had on masks and shields, and some had grenades and all kind of crazy in the back of a U-Haul truck. So apparently somebody saw something that looked suspicious, and they called law enforcement. This was in Idaho. So Juneteenth is this weekend. So for everybody that's having all the promoters, the cities, there are a lot of Juneteenth celebrations all across America, because corporate America, they want to capitalize on it. Like Walmart was selling some damn Juneteenth ice cream. No, this is not a celebration for y'all to pimp black folks. You pimped us enough. Sorry, them days are over. All right. As a matter of fact, that's what Juneteenth week was. That after the Emancipation Proclamation was actually signed, the African Americans in Texas didn't find out until 2 years later, on June 19th, hence the name Juneteenth Day. As my mother would say, that's really low down. That's really low down and dirty and lousy. The black folks were free in Texas, but they didn't find out about it until 2 years after they were free. Now, that's a damn shame. But anyway, and this is shout out, attention, law enforcement, you serve and protect everybody, including black folks. So you need to look out. You all do surveillance. Listen, you know where these white nationalists, these neo-Nazis, Aryan Nation, Patriot, the name of the organization, I'm gonna put it out there. It is the Patriot Front. Patriot Front. Violent. As a matter of fact, the Anti-Defamation League kind of go, they track a lot of hate groups like that because, they hate black folks, they hate Jews, they don't like gay and lesbian people, they don't like Mexicans, they really don't like anybody. They really don't like them damn selves, to be honest with you. But many of these groups are violent. You saw what happened in Charlottesville. You saw what happened on January 6th. Shout out to the January 6th Commission. Man, they putting the video out there, and they're letting Orange Hitler's own people, his daughter and son-in-law. Well, you talking about dry snitching. William Barr, his attorney general, is like, hey man, hold on. Now you done gone too damn far. His own words, that's bullshit. You lost. So stop with the lies. Anyway, law enforcement, please keep your eyes open. We don't want any problems, but for everybody watching, all the promoters and all of us, just keep your head on a swivel. We're going to enjoy ourselves. We don't live in fear, but just, keep your heads up. Because listen, for all those evildoers and all those domestic terrorists, let me just say this before I bring on my guests. I'm going to clean it up because I got my guests with me. Now, I don't want to, I don't want to get them in trouble, and my mother's watching, so I'm going to clean this up a little bit. But fool around and find out and get your feelings hurt if you want to. That's all I got to say. Don't fool around and find out. Because on the south side of Chicago, that first letter that started with an F wasn't fool around. It was something else around and find out. Get your feelings hurt. So we don't advocate violence, but we do believe in self-defense. Y'all believe in the Second Amendment? Well, so do we. Let me bring my guest on. And that's another reason why you have to vote, because these same domestic terrorists that these neo-Nazis and Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and 3%ers, these people are running for office. Some of these people won the Republican primaries in their own communities. So you have to understand there is a plan. And these people understand that they want to get in positions of power. So they can basically change the laws. Let's go back to the Jim Crow era, Jim Crow 2.0. Oh no, I'm not making this up. I am not exaggerating. This is real talk. Let me bring on my guest since we're talking about election day eve and voting and why it is so important. And my guest can tell me just as well as I can and in a different way. So I want to bring on camera Nashonda Hunter. She's with the Charity Foundation and a good friend of mine. I'm honored to have him on the show. Attorney Gerard Frazier. Welcome to the show. There we go. Oh, look at that. I love it.
Thanks for having us.
Looking lovely and handsome today. Brother Gerard has always got his swag going on, and Nashonda got the black woman magic working. So I want to thank you guys for joining the show. Thank you for being patient. I'm going to do like DJ Cassidy and toss you the mic. As a matter of fact, Nashonda, I'm going to toss it to you ladies first. That's the way my mom raised me. Today is Election Day Eve. Tomorrow is Election Day. And between you and Brother Gerard, you've got some important information to share with the public. So I'll just let you pick up right here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having us on. I'm Nashonda Hunter, Executive Director of the Charity Foundation. We're a nonprofit that serves the Liberty Hill community in North Charleston. It is the oldest community. It was purchased as a settlement community for freedmen back in 1864 by Paul and Harriet Truscott. And it was later sold to 4 families whose descendants still live on Liberty Hill to this day.
Wow.
And so with the Charity Foundation, we have 4 initiatives: STEM education, affordable housing, workforce development, and financial literacy. But more importantly, we have a responsibility to our community, being with that rich history that it has, that we make sure that we empower our community to get out and go vote. And so on election day, we actually have something called election protection. And we have our in-house attorney, Gerard Frazier, who is able to come out to the polls. If you have any issues at the polls, we'd love to make sure that we are advocating for you. We'll report back to the state. We've heard word that there are going to be some people at the polls intentionally trying to swing the votes and making sure that people are not being have a fair right to vote. And we just want to make sure that we avoid all of that at any cost. And Mr. Frazier.
I love it. That's a great toss. There's an assist to Brother Gerard. I want to pick up on what Nashonda was talking about, and this is your field of expertise, because we've heard a lot about potential intimidation. We saw once again, we saw what happened in Buffalo, and we hope and pray we don't speak any of that into existence. But we have to be mindful. We have to be aware. Because there are people that want to do us harm, who don't want us to vote, who want to take our power. So I'll let you speak on that and also address any situation if someone goes to the poll and if they feel that someone is trying to intimidate them or a group is trying to intimidate them, if they see anything nefarious, God forbid, if they see a U-Haul truck with some crazy looking dudes in khakis and tiki torches,
right.
What should they do? They should probably call you. What would you recommend they do?
Well, first, the intimidation pieces and the confusion is how they really try to interrupt and interfere with elections. America is a prime example of democracy. We know how to do democracy well. We've been doing it right for a long time. So that means we also know how to manipulate it very well. And we manipulate it for a long time very well. And that's been done by closing the precincts, changing ballots, improper balloting, and also, like you said, intimidation. And all those things kind of discourage a voter. They make them forced to put a paper ballot down, to do a challenge ballot. And if you don't show up the next day for the hearing, they toss your ballot out. Wow. And we're trying to prevent those things. So one thing we can do is with information. So if you tell us about what's going on, the best way to combat that is to let them know you have someone on your side. And it's sometimes well, I'll tell you that more often than not, just letting them know that you are not afraid to assert yourself and you have someone who will advocate for you. It's going to change your outcome. It's like every other aspect and every other facet of life.
So let me put this out to both of you guys, and either one or both can answer it. Let's just do a hypothetical. Let's just say you get up in the morning, or maybe you haven't checked to make sure that your voting status is up to date, because we know, Gerard, you were just talking about, listen, these folks, they play games. They've been playing games. You got a lot of counties purging voters off the rolls. And, for some reason, it seems like the voters that get purged the most and the most often are folks that look like all of us. So what should they do either today or tomorrow? And if they get to the polls and all of a sudden they say, well, we don't see your name here and you've been voting at the same damn polling place for 20, 30 years and all your family, what should they do?
There's a website you can go to and check your polling place. You put in your name and your address, and they will find your polling precinct site for you. I don't know if Nashonda probably may have that on hand or not.
That's scvotes.org. So SC as in South Carolina, votes, votes.org. Make sure that you go and check out your voter registration status. Like Gerard said, you will be able to make sure that your address is correct, your name is spelled correctly, and also make sure that you have a form of identification to take with you to the polls.
So, and let's talk about that. What forms of ID are valid? And here's a hypothetical. Let's just say you got a grandma, or you got a mom or dad, elderly, retired. They don't drive anymore. They can't drive anymore, so they don't have a driver's license because they're not driving. What are the various forms of ID? Or you don't have to be elderly. Some folks just don't drive or can't drive. What are some of the forms of ID that are valid to be used here?
Well, we've been really fortunate and we've been really pressing the issue to make sure that your seniors have a photo ID. You don't have to have a driver's license. The state DMV will actually issue you an identification card. It still has your photo on it, your name, your address, birthday, all that good stuff. And if you just go to the DMV, they'll get you that. I want to say free of charge, but if not, it's a nominal fee of $10 to $12. So I would encourage everyone to get to the DMV. If you need assistance with getting your elders to the DMV so that they can get that identification, please reach out to the Charity Foundation, 843-747-2737. Give us a call or shoot us an email from our website, and we'll be happy to make sure that we get that scheduled for you.
Yes. And guys, I'm at my daughter's side. As you can see me outside in the car. I got to jump back in and make sure I'm a good citizen, but also a good dad. So I appreciate the show. Keep doing what you're doing, Nashonda. Thanks for asking me to be a part of this, and we'll be out there helping you guys on election day.
All right. Thank you, Gerard.
Thanks,
Gerard. Hey, family first. Go take care of your baby, man. Thank
you, man.
All right. Thank you. All right. So, Nashonda, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we haven't covered? I know it's so much. Anything specifically that you want to address that we need to cover, especially for Election Day tomorrow? Polls open at 7 o'clock, correct?
Yes.
Close at 7 o'clock. You tell people what they need to do if they get to the polling place, and for whatever reason they tell them that they don't have proper ID. What would you recommend they do? And if they say, okay, you don't have the right ID, you got to go and come back. I'm sure legally they can do that. What would you recommend? What advice are you?
So there's a way. You can still take a piece of mail or something that has your name on it that you can then validate later on. Tomorrow, fortunately, is the primaries, and hopefully we'll get you straight by the time the big election comes out in November. But just still go and vote. By all means, I just don't want to encourage everyone to at least go out and go vote. We also, another thing I wanted to make sure that we mentioned, you mentioned what happened up in New York. And if you see anything strange, please notify someone at that polling place, and also don't hesitate to call the police, because at the end of the day, safety is first and foremost, especially with everything that's going on here in America. We don't need anyone trying to be heroes. Make sure that the authorities have been notified, and make sure that, people who are on staff out there at those polling places are aware of what's going on. We need everyone's eyes and ears out here so that we can stay safe and go home to our loved ones and return the same way that we came tomorrow morning.
So is your organization, or maybe Gerard, are you guys going to have poll watchers? And how does that poll watching situation exactly, what's the procedure to become a poll watcher? I have an idea. If you want to be a poll worker, you would contact the Board of Elections in your county. How does this whole poll watching situation work?
So ours is more of a social justice piece because Charity Missionary Baptist Church is where the Charity Foundation stems from. And our pastor, Reverend Nelson B. Rivers III, is a social justice pastor. He has been working in social justice for years and civil rights for years. He's worked with the NAACP and the National Action Network. And so really and truly, justice is what we do here at Charity. So the Charity Foundation, as I mentioned earlier, it is a part of our, it's a part of our business strategy, making sure that our community is empowered to vote, that they are prepared to vote, and that they are knowledgeable in their vote. So us sharing the information with you about going to scvotes.org and making sure that you know your status, that is something that we are striving for everyone in our community to do. Black Church 75 has an initiative out where they're trying to get 75% of all church congregations to be registered voters. We have to do the work in our own communities to make sure that we are utilizing our right to vote. Reverend Rivers says something about your vote being precious, your vote being private, and how wonderful it is to have the opportunity to vote. So we have to make sure that we're prepared and doing our part. So again, make sure that you have your driver's license or photo ID. There was a big thing down in Georgia a few years ago where they were trying to say, you know, they didn't even want people to come and vote, especially because there were seniors who didn't have driver's license anymore. And that's where we came up with this law to allow people to vote with just regular state IDs. They try hard to make sure that they can suppress our vote. And I remind, especially my peers, our ancestors literally have blood, sweat, and tears went into making sure that we have a right to vote. And I just want to encourage everyone to make sure that they are exercising their right. And if they have any resistance at the polls, to please let someone know. You can let us know with our election protection team. You can call the church here at 843-747-2737. You can also notify your poll watcher. We will be out and canvassing at different polling sites just to make sure that things are going smoothly. And I think that's what it's going to take. They're going to have to see that there are people who are actively involved and passionate about making sure that people have their right to vote and nothing is coming in between them and their right to vote, so that they will, back off a little bit and make sure that everything goes smoothly. So Geno, that's it in a nutshell. I thank you so much for having us and just letting us share this information today.
Nashonda, you did a great job. You and Gerard. So before I let you run, let me just, I want to piggyback on what you were talking about. You were talking about you and a group of churches have a campaign basically to get 75% of their membership, their members, to register. So let me just add on to that. I don't need you all to just register. Registration without participation don't do us no good. It don't do you no good. So when you register, you've got to vote. That might be even more important than registering to vote, is to actually engage in the franchise and vote and take a bunch of folks with you. If you were going to the nightclub, or if you were going to the mall and going to Marshall's or TJ Maxx to do some shopping, girls trip shopping, guys trip. If y'all was going to the NBA finals to watch Steph Curry, you would travel in a pack. So we need you. If you're going, I need you all to go vote tomorrow. Act like y'all going to the Essence Festival to see Mary J. Blige or Janet Jackson. That's what I need you to do. Just imagine.
Droves. Matter of fact, one more thing, Geno, if you don't mind, we actually will come and pick you up. If you have elders or seniors, I know that gas prices are high. We want to eliminate any excuse that you have to go and vote. One more thing, we're actually partnered with Black Voters Matter. We've been partnered with them for a few years now. They're doing an amazing job as far as spreading the word about voters' rights and voter activism all across this country. And so we're one of their partners here in the Charleston, South Carolina area. They provide us with training, door knocking training, just making sure that we are making sure that our voters are safe. I mean, we've gone through an entire pandemic and we're still at it. But again, if you have any transportation issues, please give us a call tomorrow at 843-747-2737, and we will coordinate to get someone out there to you to go and drop you off and pick you up from the polls.
Give us that number again, Nashonda.
843-747-2737.
Now, in the primary, let me just say this real quick, because I went and voted last week. They're going to ask you to basically declare, are you going to vote in the Democratic or Republican primary? So you pick whatever primary you want to vote in, but they will ask you that. And I just wanted to pass it on, because in a general election, you don't have to declare because it's a general election. So it doesn't matter if you're voting Democrat or Republican, but you got two separate primaries. So they will ask you which primary how are you going to vote in the Democratic primary. Can't vote in both. You have to pick one. So I just thought that was some important information to pass on. Nashonda, you did a great job. Shout out to my man, Gerard Frazier. If there's any situation where you think that you need an attorney, you want to give Gerard's number out one more time and his email address?
Absolutely. So Gerard's can be reached at SC Injury Solutions, and his phone number at his office is 843-900-4529. That's 843-900-4529.
So Nashonda, we're going to have to run it back soon. Let's shout out, you mentioned Black Voters Matter here in South Carolina. April Richardson, shout out to April. And shout out to, Latasha. I love Latasha Brown. She's been a guest on the show. And Brother Cliff, I've been trying to get, Cliff is busy. Cliff Averill, Black Voters Matter, the national headquarters and office in Atlanta. They do great work, so shout them out. And I'm honored to work with them in any capacity. Great job. You have a home here on the Geno Jones Show. I need to just make you a regular contributor, because you knocked it out the park.
We've got so much work to do. I'll definitely come back after election season and let you know about our affordable housing and our STEM initiatives, and also our workforce. I mean, everything, literally all of it. You know, the Transformation Liberty Hill initiative it really expands beyond Liberty Hill, but we're based here in Liberty Hill. But I mean, this is work that needs to be done for the people. So affordable housing, that's a whole nother show, Geno. I'll definitely be back.
Yeah, you will be back sooner than you think. But I want to run it back soon. We'll talk off camera after tomorrow. I want to run it back with you, especially maybe get April. And let's have a strategy and a game plan for November 8th, and a game plan to really increase not just turnout, but participation. So we need you to register, but we need you to turn out, and we need you to turn out with your team, like Team Nashonda, Team Geno. I want everybody to have a team, and y'all show up, get some matching T-shirts and caps. I don't give a damn, but I need y'all we need to show up as teams to turn out, to take control of our future. Because, and I'll say this to my younger brothers and sisters in the hair salons and the nail salons and the barber shops, two things. If voting wasn't important, they wouldn't be working so damn hard to keep you from voting. And if you don't like the way that the people in power are, because they really take control of your life, they run your life, everything, all your local elections, your mayors, school boards, you worry about police brutality. Well, the police chief is appointed by the mayor. People don't want your children to learn the true history. I don't know how they're going to talk about Juneteenth, because, that's critical race theory. We can't teach that. So why can't our kids learn, and all children learn, about America's true history? Well, you have people that are elected on the school boards. So, and if you don't like the way people in power are running things, guess what? Take it over. Do like we did in the NBA and the NFL. Take it over, get in, run for office. I'm lobbying, been trying to get Nashonda to run for office for a while.
In due time, I'm learning a couple of things.
I love it. So listen, you all, to my young brothers and sisters, I've been preaching this, my millennials and Gen Zers, and even us Gen Xers and the baby boomers. Listen, participate, run, raise money, organize, mobilize, take control of the party. If you don't like the way the party's being run, then change it by taking it over. Nashonda, thank you. Enjoy your evening, and we will talk soon.
All right. Thanks so much, Geno.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Nashonda. She did a great job. And I want to thank Brother Gerard, too, for joining the show. Thank you for letting us be a part of your life, because it wasn't just me. Thank you for letting me and my guests be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday. 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out in L.A. or up in San Francisco, where Game 5 of the NBA Finals is tonight. Steph Curry put on a performance for the ages. Friday night, 43 points, 10 rebounds. What are you going to do tonight, Stephen Curry? I had some comments about mom and dad, but I'll save those for another show. You know, sometimes y'all just messy. I'm just going to say it. Y'all really messy. All right. All right, everybody. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on Instagram. Kel be cutting up, and he really does. KELBECUTTINUP. He is the CEO and owner of Designer Cuts in Goose Creek, South Carolina. Shout out to Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show, along with Allie Jones is Mr. Bruce Gage. So Allie Jones is on Instagram. Check her out. Check out her drip, her fashion, her collection. The Alexandria Nicole collection in line. It's Lexi with 2 X's, LEXXIE dot Nicole underscore is that little dash at the bottom, designs. Lexi dot Nicole underscore dash at the bottom, designs. And Bruce Gage is on Instagram. You check him out. Check out his collection. Check out his drip, his fashions. It's Miglio Di Mario Uomo, MIGILIO DIMARIO UOMO. That's MIGILIO DIMARIO UOMO. Have a great rest of your afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time you're watching, wherever you're watching me. And the next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be Election Day in South Carolina and several other states across America tomorrow or Tuesday, today, depending on when you're watching, 6:30 p.m. And until then, as always, please be blessed. Let's pray for peace. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.